Hi Mark, my name is Bella. My student number is S0441017. Pamela liar. How to spot a liar. I'm a freshman at NCUE. Okay. Now I don't want to alarm anybody in this room, but it's just come to my attention that the person to your right is a liar. Laughter. Also, the person to your left is a liar. Also, the person sitting in your very seat is a liar. We are all liars. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you what the research said about why we are all liars, how you can become a lie spotter, and why you might want to go the extra mile and go from lie spotting to trust seeking, and ultimately to trust building. Now, speaking of trust, ever since I wrote this book, Lie Spotting, no one wants to meet me in person anymore. No. They say, it's okay, we will email you. Laughter. I can't even get a coffee date at Starbucks. My husband's like, honey, deception? Maybe you could have focused on cooking. How about French cooking? So before I get started, what I'm going to do is I'm going to clarify my goal for you, which is not to teach a game of gotcha. Lie spotters are not those nitpicky kids, those kids in the back of the room that are shouting gotcha, gotcha. Your eyebrow twitched. You flare your nostril. I watched that TV show, Lie to Me. I know you are lying. No, lie spotters are armed with scientific knowledge of how to spot deception. They use it to get the truth, and they do what mature leaders do every day. They have difficult conversation with difficult people. Sometimes, during the very difficult times, and they start out like the path by accepting a core proposition, and that proposition is the following. Lying is a cooperative act. Think about it. A lie has no power whatsoever by its mere utterance. Its power emerges when someone else agrees to believe the lie. So I know it may sound like tough love, but look, if at some point you get lied to, it's because you agree to get lied to. Truth number 1 about lying. Lying is a cooperative act. Now, not all lies are harmful. Sometimes we are willing participants in deception for the sake of social dignity, maybe to keep a secret that should be kept secret. We say, nice song. Honey, you don't look fat in that. No. Or we say, favorite of dignity. You know, I just finished that email out of my spam folder. So sorry. But there are times when we are unwilling participants in deception, and that can have dramatic costs for us. Last year, we saw $997 billion in corporate fraud alone in the United States. That's an eyelash under the $3 million. That's 7% of revenues. Deception can cost billions. Think Aaron Madoff, the mortgage crisis. Or in the case of double agent and traitors like Robert Hansen or Eldridge Ames. Lies can betray our country. They can compromise our security. They can undermine democracy. They can cause a death of those that defend us. Deception is actually serious business. This comment, Henry Uplander, he has such an effective comment. British authorities said he could have undermined the entire banking system of the West world. And you can find this guy on Google. You can find him anywhere. He was interviewed once, and he said the following. He said, look, I have got one rule. And this was Henry's rule. He said, look, everyone is willing to give you something. They are ready to give you something for whatever it is they are hungry for. And that's the curse of it. If you don't want to be deceived, you have to know what is it that you are hungry for. And we all kind of hate to admit it. We wish we were better husbands, better wives, smarter, more powerful, taller, richer. The list goes on. Lying is an attempt to bridge that gap, to connect our wish and our fast tense about who we wish we were, how we wish we could be, what we are really like. And boy, are we willing to fill in this gap in our lives with lies. On a given day, studies show that you might be lied to anywhere from 10 to 200 times. Now, granted, many of those are white lies, but in another study, it shows that the strangers lie 3 times within the first 10 minutes of meeting each other. Laughter. Now, when we first hear this data, we recoil all. We can't believe how prevalent lying is. We are essentially against lying. But if you look more closely, the plot actually thickens. We lie more to strangers than we lie to co-workers. Extroverts lie more than introverts. Men lie 8 times more about themselves than they do other people. Women lie more to protect their other people. If you are in an average married couple, you are going to lie to your spouse in 1 hour of a very 10 minutes interactions. Now, you may think that is bad. If you are unmarried, the number drops to 3. Lying is complex. It woven into the fabric of our daily and our business lives. They are deeply ambivalent about the truth. We parse it out on an as-needed basis, sometimes for very good reasons, other times just because we don't understand the gap in our lives. That's truth number 2 about lying. We are against lying, but we are covertly for it in ways that our society have scanned for centuries and centuries and centuries. It is all as briefing. It's a part of our culture. It's part of our history. Think Dennis, Shakespeare, the Bible, news of the world, laughter. Lying has involuntarily evolved to us as a species. Research have long known that the more intelligent the species, the larger the neocortex, the more likely it is to be deceptive. Now you might remember Coco. Does anybody remember Coco, the gorilla who was taught sign language? Coco was taught to communicate via sign language. Here's Coco within her kitten. It's her cute little floaty pet kitten. Coco once blamed her pet kitten for ripping a sign out of the wall. Laughter. We are hardwired to become leaders of the pack. It starts really, really early. How early? Well, babies will fake a cry, pause, wait to see who's coming, and then they go right back to the crying. 1-year-old learn concealment, laughter. 2-year-old spuffed. 5-year-olds lie outright. They manipulate via vectoring. 9-year-old mastered of the cover-up. By the time you enter college, you are going to lie to your mom in 1 out of a very 5 interactions. By the time we enter this work world, we will be the breadwinners. We enter a world that is just cluttering with spam, fake digital friends, parasite media, ingenious identity themselves, world classes, Ponzi scammers, a deception epidemic. In short, what one author calls a spot truth society, it has been very confused for a long time now. What do you do? Well, there are steps we can take to navigate our way through the morass. Trained lie spotters get to the truth 90% of the time. The rest of us, we are only 54% accurate. Why is it so easy to learn? There are good liars and bad liars. There are no real original liars. We are all make the same mistake. We are all use the same techniques. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you 2 patterns of deception. And then we are going to look at the hot spots and see if we can find them ourselves. We are going to start with speech. Video. Bill Colton. I want to listen to me. I'm going to say this again. I did not have sexual reactions with that woman, Miss Lewinsky. I never told anybody to lie. Not a single time. Never. At least allegations are false, and I need to go back to work for the American people. Thank you. Applause. Pamela Meyer. Okay. What we are What were the telltale signs? We hear what's known as a non-contract denial. Studies show that people who were overdetermined in our denial will resort for formal rather than informal language. We also hear distancing language, like women. We know that the liars will unconsciously distance themselves from their subject, using language as their tool. Now, if Bill Clinton had said, "Well, to tell you the truth," or Richard Nixon's favorite, "in all candor," he would have been a dive giveaway for the light spotter that knows that qualifying language, as it is called, qualifying language like that, further discredits the subject. Not if he had repeated the question in his entirely, or if he had peppered his account with a little too much detail, and we are already glad he didn't do what, that he would have further discredited himself. Freud had it right. Freud said, "Look, it's much more to than a speech. No mortal can keep a secret. If his lips are silent, he chatters with his fingertips. And we all do it no matter how powerful you are. We all chatter with our fingertips. I'm going to show you." Dominic Stratus came with Obama, who is chattering with his fingertips. Laughter. Now, this brings us to our next pattern, which is body language. With body language, here's what you have got to do. You have really got to throw your assumption out the door. Let the science tempt your knowledge a little bit, because we think liars forget all the times. We guess that they are known to freeze their utterance body when they are lying. We think liars won't look you in the eyes. Well, guess what? They look in the eyes a little too much just to compensate for the math. We think warmth and smiles convey earnest sincerity, but a trained light spotter can spot a fake smile a mile away. Can you all spot the fake smile here? Can you consciously contract the muscle in your cheeks? But the real smiles in the eyes, the crowd feed of the eyes, they cannot be consciously contracted, especially if you overdid the Botox. Don't overdo the Botox. Nobody will think you are honest. Now, we are going to look at the hot spots. Can you tell what's happening in the conversation? Can you start to find the hot spot to see the discrepancies between someone's words and someone's actions? Now, I know it seems really obvious, but when you are having a conversation with someone you suspect of deception, the attitude is by far the most overlooked, but telling of indicators. An honest person is going to be cooperative. They are going to show they are on your side. They are going to be enthusiastic. They are going to be willing and helpful to get you the truth. You are going to be willing to brainstorm, name suspects, provide details. They are going to say, "Hey, maybe it was those guys in payroll that forged those checks." They are going to be infuriated if they sense of wrangling access throughout the entire course of the interview, not just in flashes. They will be infuriated throughout the entire course of the interview. If they ask someone honest what should happen to whomever do forget forge those checks, an honest person is much more likely to recommend strict rather than license punishment. Now, let's say you are having that exact same conversation with someone deceptive. That person may withdraw, look down, lower their voice, pause, be kind of hickory-jerky. Ask a deceptive person to tell their story. They are going to pepper it with way too much detail in all kinds of irrelative places, and then they are going to tell their stories in strict chronological order. And what a trained integrator does is come in and in very subtle ways over the course of several hours. They will ask the person to tell the story backwards, and they will watch the screen, the track which questions produce the highest volume of deceptive details. Why do they do that? Well, we all do the same thing. We rehearse our words, but we really rehearse our gesture. We say yes, we shake our hands. No, we tell a very convincing story. We suddenly throw our shoulders. We commit terrible crimes, and we smile at the delight in getting away with it. Now, that smell is known in the trade as double delight. And we are going to see that in several videos moving forward, and we are going to start it. For those of you who don't know him, this is President candidate John Edwards, who shocked Americans by fathering a child out of a will look. We are going to see him talk about getting a paternity test. See now if you can spot him saying yes while shaking his head no. Sadly juggle his shoulder. Video, John Edwards. I'll be happy to participate in one. I know that it is not possible that this child could be mine because of the kind of events, so I know it's not possible. Happy to take a paternity test and would love to see it happen. Interviewer, are you going to do that soon? Is there somebody? John Edward, well, I'm only one side of the test, but I'm happy to participate in one. Pamela Meyer, okay, those head shakes are much easier to spot once you know to look for them. There are going to be times when someone makes one exception while masking others that just kind of leads through in the flesh. Murderers are known to leak sadness. You know joint ventures patterns by shake your hands. Celebrate. Go out to dinner with you and then leak the expression of anger. And we are not all going to become facial expression exported overnight here. But there is one I can teach you that is very dangerous and is easy to learn. And it's a deception of contempt. Now with anger, you are got to people on an even playing field. It's still somewhat of a healthy relationship, but when anger turns to contempt, you have been dismissed. It associates with a normal superiority, and for that reason, it's very, very hard to recover from. Here's what it looks like. It's marked by lip corner pull out and in. It's only a systematical expression, and in the presence of contempt, whether or not deception follows, and it doesn't always follows. Look at the other way. Go the other direction. Reconsider the details. Say, no, thank you. I'm not coming out for just one more nightcap. Thank you. Scientists have surfaced many more indicators. We know, for example, we know lions will shift their blank rest, pointing their feet toward an X. They will take various objects and put them between themselves and put the person in that is interview them. They alter their vocal tone, often making their vocal tone much lower. Now, here's the deal. Those behaviors are just behaviors. They are not proof of deception. They are red flags. We are human beings. We make deceptive floating gestures all over the place all day long. They don't mean anything in and of themselves, but when you see clusters of them, that's your signal. Look, listen. Prop X. Some hard questions. Get out of that very comfortable mode of knowing. Walk into curiosity mode. Ask more questions. Have a little dignity. Treat the person you are taking to with reports, and don't try to be those flaws on Law Order and those other TV shows that prompt their subjects into submission. Don't be too aggressive. It doesn't work. Now we have talked a little bit about how to talk to someone who's lying and how to spot a lie. And as I promised, we are now going to look at what the truth looks like. But I'm going to show you two videos. Two mothers. One is lying, one is telling the truth. And those were surfaced by researchers David masked up in California, and I think they are an excellent example of what the truth looked like. This mother, Diana Downs, shot her kids at close range, drive them to the hospital while they bled all over the car. Came a scratchy hair stranger did it, and you will see when you see the video. She can even pretend to be an agonizing mother, and you want to look for this is an incredible discrepancy between horrific events that she described and her very, very cool demeanor. If you look closely, you will see jumping delight throughout this video. Diana Downs. At night, when I close my eyes, I can see Christy reach her hand out to me while I'm driving, and the blood just keeps coming out from her mouth, and that maybe it's fade too with time, but I don't think so. That bothered me the most. Pamela Meyer. Now, I'm going to show you a video of an actual grieving mother, Erin Ranian, confronting her daughter's murders and torture in court. Here you are going to see the false emotion, just the authentic depression of Mother Agnes video. Erin Ranian. I wrote this statement on this 3rd Avenue of the night you took my baby, and you hurt her, and you crushed her, and you terrified her until her heart stopped. And she fought. I can know she fought for you, and I know she looked at you with those amazing brown eyes, and you still wanted to kill her. I don't understand it, and I will never. Pamela Meyer. Okay, there's no doubting the rigorousity of the emotion. Now, the technology around what the truth looks like is progressing on. The science of it. We know, for example, that we have specialized eyes trackers and infrared brain scan. MRIs that can decode the signals that our bodies send out when we are trying to be deceptive. And these technologies are going to be marketed to all of us as panaceas for decreed, and they will prove incredibly useful someday. But you have got to ask yourself in the meantime, who do you want on your side of the meeting? Someone who is training in getting to the truth, or some guys who is going to drag a 400-pound electric pentagram through the door? Light spotters rely on human tools. They know. As someone once said, characters who you are in the dark. And what's kind of interesting is that today we have so little darkness. Our world is lived out 24 hours a day. It's transparent with blogs and social networks broadcasting the buzz of a whole new generation of people that have made a choice to live their lives in public. It's much more noisy world. So someone challenge we have is to remember, oversharing, that's not honesty. Our manic tweeting and texting can blind us to the fact that the subtitles of human distance, character integrated, and that's still what matters, and that's always what's going to matter. So in this much noisier world, it might make sense for us to be just a little bit more athletic about our moral code. Or you combine the sciences of recognizing deception with the art of looking, listening, you extend yourself from collaborating in a line. You start out that path of being just a little bit more exhausted because you signal to everyone around you. You say, hey, our world is going to be an honest one. My world is going to be one where truth is strengthened and threshold is recognized and marginalized. And when you do that, the ground around you starts to shift just like a little bit. And that's the truth. Thank you. Applause. It's all about my recording. Thank you.